Corey, I know you do. You want to take the lead as far as just bouncing some ideas as far as Charlie Kirk and unpacking that?
Yeah, as long as we keep it open, because I feel like there's a lot of different things that the Charlie Kirk story or saga touches on. And I think the way that, you and I have interacted in the last week is some, like, the fact that Charlie touched a lot of people and the way that, like, Candace is responding to it after the death, I think has to do with some tribal stuff. And she called a couple people out saying, why is nobody questioning the storyline? And that's where it's like, it almost seems as though her and Charlie were probably closer in ways, not so much rubbing shoulders with each other, but in a way where it's like she saw him as like her people, like she was gonna protect him, or just loyalty. That's really one of, like, it's like a tribal thing where I think when it comes to the influencers and a lot of politicians and even you guys know, like, teammates and stuff like that, it's almost a fine line with when you're no longer wearing that jersey, who's really for you and who's really about the cause that you've always been about. And I know I'm like starting out with something that is like, well, we can go anywhere with it, but that was kind of my thought process behind, I think this is way deeper for what America is going through right now. I know Trump tried to almost put it underneath the rug and not really react to it. But I think in a couple of years, if not, I don't know, a short period, we're going to look back and say, like, this was a shift in the culture. And some people may be closer because of it. And other people, I know that I'm looking at some of these influencers like, you're not done to me, but I don't see you as standing for truth, standing for open dialogue, standing for some of those things that you claimed for, you built a whole platform around. So that, I don't know if you guys have a response to just that, but like, that's how I've been, it's only been a couple weeks and I'm not really over it. I don't know how we can be over it. I don't think we have the truth yet. So how are so many people on it's a death. Someone did something for some reason and we don't know why, but we're supposed to move on.
An execution.
Live. In front of all of us, for all of us to see. And we're supposed to just give Trump a Nobel Peace Prize for something he did or is doing across the seas. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time with the whole thing.
Anybody want to jump in there?
Oh man, well, you know what? The way that I look at it, as far as the Nobel Peace Prize thing goes, the way that he was campaigning for that is shameless. I mean, downright shameless. You're not supposed to ask someone for that type of a gift. That would be like me coming to the panel right now and just looking at everybody here and be like, oh, well, y'all need to put money together and buy me not just a regular car. I want a Bentley. Yeah, don't get me the Ford Focus. Get me a Bentley. What? Really? How do you do that? With a straight face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yet and still you're a product of a political government, that a campaign that people could look at and be like, hey, something ain't right. I mean, I grew up during Sesame Street when one of these things just didn't come along and two of these things do belong together. None of this shit's making sense right now, because the same thing, dude, I drink coffee. I heard somebody ask that's this morning. I drink coffee. The same coffee I drink today is twice as much today as it was 6 months ago. There's something wrong with that. Now, the price of eggs might not be $12 anymore for a dozen, but coffee is twice as much. chocolate. If I look to put chocolate out this year for Halloween, kids would be lucky if they get to the bottom of that barrel. I ain't joking.
I'm crazy.
Yeah. I might buy some dye and some sugar and make my own damn candy. And I'm old enough to remember where people used to like that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But dude, today, what? Really? I mean, and then now don't get me wrong, because I'm a Republican, but you couldn't get me to admit that right now.
Right.
All of the chaos that's going on in the Republican Party, dude. I remember when Barack Obama was in office, and I used to have white guys looking at me like, Charlie, you're the whitest black guy I ever known. You're backing someone against this guy and blah blah blah. No, it wasn't about that. It was always about the overall reasoning behind the politics. I vote just like everybody else. It's a pocket decision. If the pockets ain't right, the vote ain't right.
What do you think as far as with Charlie Kirk and his death? What do you think? Like, what were your initial thoughts on it as far as why it happened, connecting the dots, following the money? Is it a power play? What were your initial takeaways after seeing this man executed on live TV in front, or live stream, whatever you want to call it, in front of the world?
My personal opinion on this was I knew from where the incident happened in Utah that it wouldn't be a brother that shot him. I was confident of that. I was confident that it was not no Arab. That when they started talking about how might be somebody from Iraq or someplace, no, I knew better than all of that. I knew that it would be a Mormon, and I had the sneaky suspicion that it would probably be a gay Mormon, because they make gay Mormons, and now the whole world knows that they do.
So, BK, let's get to you, because I think we may have touched on it a little bit with Charlie Kirk. But what are your initial thoughts? You know, what do you think the play is? Do you have certain conspiracy theories, whatever people want to call it, that you just don't think are on the table? Or are you just kind of open to whatever? Like, where are you at with all this? You're on mute. You still on mute.
It was loud and clear before.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah.
Good?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah. Okay, bet. I think I'm push and pulled a lot of
I
different
can't hear
directions.
him.
Oh, y'all
You can hear. We can hear him.
I can hear him.
Hello?
You having issues hearing?
Yeah, I can't hear him at all.
Hello? Testing.
Yeah, I could definitely hear him.
Yeah, same.
You may want to adjust. I don't know if it's the Bluetooth. Oh, can you hear us?
Yeah. I can hear all of y'all, but I can't hear him.
Damn, that's weird.
It says on screen, and everything's lit up like everybody else. Even his screen is lit up blue, just like everybody else.
It does have your volume all the way down on this part. Hold on. Can you hear now?
Hello?
Keep going.
Hello?
It just went all the way back. There you go.
All right, so I think you may actually have. Okay, I just had to adjust the volume, I think, on these things. It's supposed to adjust it automatically, but I don't know. This is good. We're figuring this auto adjust mic volume. All right, so it said auto adjusted, but go ahead. You good?
Yeah. So like I said, I'm pulled a lot of different directions. especially just realizing how far
Yeah, is somebody bringing your volume down? I just saw it go down. Is that because you may be able to adjust it? Because remember, you're on the team member. So if you're turning his volume off, then that may be the issue.
Try turning it up, because I'm trying to. There you go. There you go.
All right. So are you adjusting it on your end?
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it should be. I don't know why. I just saw the volume go all the way down. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. How about now? Good.
Yeah, you should be good.
All right. But like I was kind of referring to, is just, for me, this is kind of my first time, I'd say, in history where I've kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities of how far politics is willing to go to either cover certain things up or to drive a perspective or an initiative, regardless of, whether or not you're on the right or the left. And so for me, it's always been difficult to necessarily, pinpoint whether or not I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, because I honestly align with a lot of principles between the two of them. And so the way I kind of look at politics is like there's a left wing, there's a right wing, but there's one bird. And ultimately, I'm always going to fall in alignment in between both, because I think there are strengths and weaknesses in both. But I also notice that perspective is going to play a huge factor into it. And so what benefits somebody else in one party maybe at the detriment of somebody in the other party. And so when it comes to Charlie Kirk is kind of a new subject and topic for me. I can't say that I have not seen him before. Oh, it looks like she clocked in.
Yeah, it's Denise. Everybody say what's up.
What's up,
Let me
Denise?
get this going.
Good evening, young lady.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm real late, y'all. Hey.
You chilling.
Nah,
BK, we're just talking about the whole Charlie Kirk situation, everybody's response to it, how it's impacted everybody. Corey started off. That's in the top left. That's Corey. Then you got Unk in the top middle. You got BK top right. And see, she excited about Unk, man. Everybody want to see Unk.
Yes,
everybody want to see Unk.
Look at him. OMG. That's the one that be in the chair, right? OMG. Hey. He always has such very valuable information. Mm-hmm. So everybody already gave their output.
So you and I, you'll go after BK, after Brian, okay. And then I'll finish it out. But yeah. Okay. So we just started.
Yeah. Okay. So with the whole Charlie Kirk situation here, Charlie Kirk is kind of new to me. So in watching him, and kind of like you said earlier, you're just kind of seeing the way people are either pushed away or driven close to the situation. And that's opened my eyes to kind of take a look at people and see how controllable they can be when it comes to politics. Certain people just get moved and so get tied into what they're initially told or what they hear, and they start showing their real colors. And so in a sense, I'm somewhat appreciative to what has happened, because it's allowed me to kind of see where certain people stand and vice versa. There's some, to be honest, there's some white folks that I didn't know where they stood, but when this kind of popped off, it just kind of showed me like, oh, they against all this, or they speaking out, oh, this don't make no sense. And so I'm gonna be honest, I might have cut a lot of people, but a lot of people have earned my respect too. And that's the way I kind of like it to begin with, because when you're just doing shallow business with people, or you just have social media friends, like you don't really know the depth of how people operate, and that may be good or bad. But in these situations that we constantly see, whether it be a situation in Gaza, whether it be something when it comes to the political party, like this stuff is constantly refurbishing who our small circles of people are. And so for me, I'm not too moved about him passing. I'm gonna keep it a bean, like, because I just didn't really know who he was. But I have gone back and did a little bit of research. I haven't always loved his approach on speaking to kids. I don't really love I'm gonna go on somebody's campus and try to go stand on some type of business with kids that are 19 and 20 who ain't even really in the space where they really ready to go back and forth with you. Like nobody in college you can't be LeBron and then come to high school and then think you just gonna be you're you couldn't look kind of weak to me. Like, you need to go pull that on people that's with that. These kids are emotional, and when you can control people's emotions, you can get them out of character. And that's all he's doing. He's clickbaiting, he's trolling a lot of this stuff to get clips, so that when we post a 7-second clip and it goes viral on the gram, yeah, he might not have said it in that context, but he knows what he's doing to drive the message to get across. And that's something I've noticed with the right has done so well. They've taken a liking to social media and prefacing certain things that are attractive to the algorithm and gets people going. And they're running a whole social media campaign, while the left may look like they're just trying to be honest in a fight that's dishonest. And so that's kind of my take on the whole look of it now.
Yeah. Antonice, you go ahead and give us your thoughts.
Y'all, this being recorded?
It's recorded. Not live.
Oh, this not live?
No. We didn't want to do the first. We didn't want to do the first one live. I mean, honestly.
No, that's so good. Okay, no, I don't care. No, I just didn't know, so I wanted to find out. Okay, so it's not being recorded. So first of all, if you don't mind, I know you identify everybody. Can you tell me where everybody stands? Like, what is your position? So are you a Democrat? Your name is BJ? That's BK?
Me and
BK. Okay.
Yeah, BK. So for me, I won't say that I align with either party. I think there are pluses and pros and cons.
I'm a Republican, darling, but obviously I vote with my pockets, like most people do.
Okay. And that's BK. And then what's your name again? I'm sorry, I'm writing it down, y'all.
You good?
You good? I'm Corey.
Corey, where do you stand? Do you know yet? You don't have. If you don't know, it's
no, cool. I do. Look, I would definitely. So I'm not Democrat or Republican. I guess you could say I'm conservative by the meaning of that word. But when it comes to politics, I didn't vote in the last election. So my thing is it's always like it's hard to just answer quickly, but like Donald Trump was like one of my people growing up. Like I grew up with The Apprentice. So I looked at him as a businessman coming up. So I saw him as a completely different figure than the whole world in 2016. So I was all for him because I didn't see him as a politician. Now I see him as a politician and I'm less supportive of what this whole thing looks like. So it's hard for me to say I'm one or the other, but I definitely evaluate things like, I look at a lot of different bullet points under whether it's a candidate or even a topic or whatever. We're gonna have to really unpack it before I just say I'm a Democrat or Republican or liberal or conservative. It depends on the topic. And I definitely don't go back and forth. I have a hard stance in the way that I view things. It's just not that easy to give it up in one word.
Okay, I like that. And I was just asking because I was a little late. No, go ahead, Dad. What you was about to say?
I was gonna say, like, for me, it's I like what you said, Corey, because if you're a Democrat or Republican, that means it can mean for me as far as like, here are my principles. This is what I stand on. And I've noticed that a lot of times they shift based on what's on their agenda. And I'm over here like, nah, this is how I've always felt. But why do I feel like I can fall in and out of alignment with either group? So I voted my first two times voting. I voted for Barack twice, and then I didn't vote in the election after that. And I didn't vote in the election before this. And then this was my first time getting back out and voting. I'm definitely not a Democrat. And I do have but I developed a bias towards them just because I feel like there's just a certain level of dishonesty and feeling like I'm used rather than like, I can handle somebody saying they don't like me or they don't care for me or, hey, I'm getting mine, you figure yours out. I can handle that. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when somebody is like patronizing me and trying to tell me all these sweet things and, it's almost like you're running game on me, that makes me feel very uncomfortable. So that's definitely, I have a bias that I've developed towards the Democrats, which I always have to check myself with. But I'm also not a Republican. I'm definitely, I realize that my values tend to lie a lot more on the conservative side. So I guess I would call myself conservative in those aspects, but really practical, really just more so practical than anything else. Like, I don't think that there should be tampons in boys' bathrooms or boys should be playing. I mean, the things have gotten so extreme where it's like, I don't even know. Like, I think that, if somebody breaks into the house, a man should go address that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, things have gotten so all over the place where it's like, yeah, I mean, I believe in a lot of those conservative values, and especially it's making it even easier, pushing me in that direction even more so lately, as things become more and more radicalized,
Y'all, this is so, I just love that I can ask y'all these questions.
You ain't off the hook, though.
Yeah, no, right? But I was just asking because, okay, so I am a registered Republican. I just registered with the GOP like a few months ago. I was always a Democrat. I was raised, like my mom basically taught me Black people vote for Democrats and the others vote for them. But nobody ever really broke it down. And like the last election, so I voted for Obama. I always voted Democrat. This was my first time like voting for a Republican. This is like the first time I actually did my own research. So, my husband told me one day that I was a feminist. And you can't really be married and be a feminist. And when I started thinking about it, I'm like, I did have like a lot of feminist ideas when it came to Charlie Kirk. So I don't want to say I just found out about Charlie Kirk. I had heard about Charlie Kirk, but on that side, I have like my preference of who I like to watch. I'll put it like this. I'm not easily controlled. So just because somebody say something, like somebody could tell me something about Dak, and because like I'm like growing to know Dak, I will still like try to figure it out on my own. Like nobody can tell me nothing else about him. Like I have to just see it for myself. So when it came to Charlie Kirk, like everybody just kept saying he was racist. He was racist. But I believe in God, so I don't see how somebody can like believe in God and God love everybody and be racist. Okay. So then I started looking like at the debates what BK was talking about. Now I'm gonna be honest, BK. I don't know what clips you see on the internet. Some of those clips do make you think that like he may be going and like clickbaiting these people or something or trying to get them to say something. But to be honest, when you said why don't he talk to somebody, I think you said something along the lines. Hold on. If he would like talk to somebody, maybe like who like would maybe debate with him or something, those people wanted to debate with Charlie Kirk. So my thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you, the most people who have the most to say to me and who have been like so aggressive, because I don't know what words you can use on your channel that you're monetized. So when it came to Charlie Kirk, y'all, like the things that people have said, it honestly be like the liberal people that come to me and want to like talk about certain things. I don't argue with nobody no more on the internet. You know why? Because a lot of people on the left, they don't do research. That's what I'm starting to see. Like people really don't be doing research. People don't know the rules. People don't know how things go. Hold on. Because my Ring doorbell keep going off.
Oh, no, you good.
Y'all can hear me? I was about to say type of one in the chat. But no, like y'all, this is crazy. Like when I say we control, like we are so controlled. It break my heart, like how bad and when I say we, like our people are controlled. It's heartbreaking. I don't think Charlie Kirk was racist. Do I think some of his like ideas were just a bit aggressive? No. Like everybody feel like how they want to feel. Everybody can say what they want to say until somebody else say something they don't like. Like I don't know. I don't think Charlie Kirk was racist. Now, what I will say is what I don't agree with is what they doing now. Like they went from like grieving to grifting. I don't like what they doing. It really bothers me, and like it's bothering me because it messed with my heart, y'all. Because if you like really know the Lord, then yeah, when people pass, like you're not supposed to be sad. But it's like, okay, I know that, but I just still think something like in the milk not clean. Like it's just not making sense. Like I'm not one of those people that just like get on like try to tack on the stuff to like get views and stuff. Like I really be following this stuff for real. I do think Trump started out with good intentions. Now I think Big Donnie done been bought. Either that or they threatening his family or something, because all of the stuff they ran on. Oh, that's why I call him Big Donnie. Like all of the stuff that they ran on, it's like they really was like pulling the joint that like dudes used to tell you when they was in jail. Like, I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then they get out and you like, where's the dude I was talking to on the phone? Like, Pam stood at that podium and lied through her teeth. I mean, well, I don't want to say lied through her teeth, but they just, it ain't adding up. But I feel bad because I honestly think a lot of the things that people want Big Donnie to do, they can't do, and it's bigger than what we can see. Everybody want to see the Epstein files. Like, that kind of bothers me. Why everybody want to see them files? Why do they want to see that? Like, that stuff is true. It is people in there. Like, people have been in there, and the thing about it is, nobody didn't care until they told them to care about it. The Epstein files are not new. It's Prince is in there. It's people over Big Donnie them in there. That's the thing. That's why the Epstein files can't come out. Like, this is just crazy, y'all. But I don't like what happened to Charlie Kirk. But to be honest, I had a conspiracy theories, but I don't even know what happened to him. Some people saying he alive. Some people saying he unalive. Like, I don't know, but I don't think he was racist. But that's it.
No. That's I agree with a lot. Or I mean, I don't really have any disagreements that I can think of with what any of y'all said, for real. And when it comes to, Charlie Kirk, when I was looking at it, I'm more so just trying to figure out, all right, why this happens. And I always look at people's reactions. So I'm looking at people's reactions, and I do agree with you as far as Trump being scared. Like, this is a different type of person. That's what's the most scary to me. I'll be totally honest. When I see Trump getting bullied, or at least I'm looking at it like, yo, he's getting bullied. He doesn't want these things to happen. This is the opposite of what he ran on. But clearly, Bibi Netanyahu, his boss is more superior than Trump's boss. I don't know what it is, or there's something greater that wants to use Israel for whatever reason, and it's taking precedent over America. And it's got Trump looking really bad. And I just can't imagine his ego allowing these type of things to happen. And just think about it. Charlie Kirk gets shot. Trump got shot. And then they tried to shoot him again at his golf course. So it's like, and Trump's doesn't seem like the type to not put on blast. You took out a one-page ad for the Central Park 5. What you gonna do when somebody's trying to come? You know what I mean? Trying to kill you. It doesn't even seem like you're interested at this point. And even if you are behind the scenes, if you are interested behind the scenes and you're not putting it out there, then that means that there's a power that you don't want to piss off or put on blast because your life's at risk. So I'm looking at all these things happen. Looking at how Bibi Netanyahu responded to it, and it's more so just, with Charlie Kirk, I can't say that I was the biggest fan of Charlie Kirk. Like, I just see Charlie Kirk as a politician. A lot of people look at him different ways. To me, he's just a politician. Like, he'll say this, he'll say that, so I don't really look at him, super negative or super positive. I'm just kind of indifferent on that. And, I wish he would have taken on some of the debates with like a Nick Fuentes and really had real conversations, because then it would show exactly how you feel. And even with these text messages coming out, like, Charlie, you had this big influence. You should have voiced these things while you were here. Like, I think that you have a duty, obligation, responsibility. If you're, instead of just using Tucker to say a message, if that's how you feel. I'm not saying that that's how he feels. But go ahead, Corey, because I know, go ahead. Chime in, because it's easier if we do it like that rather than waiting for everybody. Yeah.
If you can see that, then I think there was a little bit of strategy. So he started Turning Point when he was 18. The way that where we are today, if he wanted to come out of that, he had to it wouldn't even plant a seed, but it's like go and get some lead blockers. Like you can't just say, okay, you know what? 1 second you're pro, the next second you're talking down. He needed to educate his audience. So the fact that he even put Tucker on that stage, or even thought about the idea of having Candace come back, said, all right, how can we move the board in this way where I can say, you know what? I have evolved. I think he was like if you're looking at him as a politician, I think he was strategically moving other people and moving the whole movement in a way where they knew behind the scenes, and they can be whatever comes to mind, but I think he was smarter and growing in front of our face. I think he got into something way younger than we all can even imagine. Where your head is at 18, from 18 to 26, those years are like, well, they make you who you are, right? So start something at 18, get some money, get a following, link up with Candace. Candace goes away. He sees Candace's, rise to fame. She's being super free, able to do whatever she wants to do. Theoretically, obviously, the jury isn't really out 100% on her, but I think he was regretting some of the positions that he had really staked in what Turning Point stood for. And I think he wanted to come out of it. I just don't know if he knew how.
Yeah, and I can agree with all that. And if he is a politician and if he's using those strategies, that's on him. A lot of times he got in the game that way. Nobody said anything when he's sitting back collecting $140 million a year, right? But if that
much,
so if that's the strategy that your organization is taking, then cool. All I'm saying is now what's such a shame is we don't know. Now he can be used as a political grift point for Netanyahu because we don't know. Now it's like, okay, Candace is saying this, Tucker is saying this, Dave Smith's saying this because Charlie expressed these in his personal conversations. But Charlie, if you don't have an honest enough relationship with your audience to say, hey, I thought this was one thing, it's another thing, then to me, we're always going to have this conversation because if we just judge it like, oh, well, I think he was being strategic, we can look at anybody with that. The problem is, it's like at what point do we decide, okay, now we're going to judge him on this? So for me, that's just my particular way of communicating that I prefer. I don't want somebody that feels that they got to, okay, let's feed him a little Tucker, let's feed him a little Candace, and then I can kind of pivot into my point. I don't think that we should necessarily even hold people to a negative light when they do change their stance. We should be open to that. No different than a Marjorie Taylor Greene, no different than her calling out Donald Trump. There's a whole bunch of people that were rocking with Donald Trump, and 4, 5, 6 months in, they said, "Oh no, he's pivoting off of off of what he said." No, we're on him right now. So I don't think that it's for me. That was just something that bothered me. And when I look at you as a politician, then I'm not going to necessarily look at you super negative, but there's going to be a ceiling as far as how you're conducting yourself because Nick Fuentes is what, 7 years younger than Charlie? You know what I mean? So if we're just looking at age, then it's like you got that responsibility. You took on that obligation. It's easy for us to look back afterwards and say, well, we can't expect him to just, he a grown man. He bringing in grown man numbers, and he has this influence. And even when, I don't know if y'all saw, and this is something that we can look at, even when he was going through that, gathering the students together for that anti-Semite conversation that they had, I don't know if y'all saw that panel. He grabbed a panel of kids, probably between like 16 and 20, and he sat down with them to talk about anti-Semitism with Israel. And the whole time he's like using them to express how they're feeling. And at the end, he's like, well, yeah, I've been trying to tell them that, there's an earthquake coming and they're just not aware of it. Like, Charlie, why don't you just say that? Like, you don't have to let kids say what you're thinking in your mind. You don't have to let Tucker say it. You don't have to let Candace say it. Like, if you're changing your mindset on these things, people are dying every day. Just say like, hey, we got an issue here. I'm shifting my stance a bit. My fault. I know I talked a while, but yeah.
No, you did. No.
Not.
Oh, go ahead. I just wanted to know, how do we know these things? I'm going to tell you something, y'all, and I know y'all don't know me, but when I tell y'all, I don't trust none of them people. I don't trust them text messages. It's a lot of stuff that just don't make sense. Like you said, why he didn't say that. But who's to say he couldn't have said that? Could he have said that? Like, it's certain things that when you get in, when your checks sound by certain people, it's certain things you cannot say. Like, you got to look at everybody. This will let me know some of these people I don't trust. When you like say one thing this whole time and then people flip, yeah, you can have a change of mind, but at some point, some of these people are flipping for dollars. Like, everybody got a cost. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love Nick, but at the end of the day, I ask the same question to Nick. Nick, who you working for? Like, who you working for? Like, everybody work for somebody. Everybody got an ulterior motive. Like, why I don't see why they would be like really sitting down and debating, because from my understanding, it's like they on the same side. Everybody is just everybody is on the same road, but when we get to this four-way stop sign with the little hat people, then it's like everybody want to go their separate ways. But why? Like, we got to figure out what's at the four-way crossroad that's like making people do whatever. Like, people are not realizing they are brainwashing people with that whole, like, what they want us to protect and all of this. That ain't what was in the Bible. That's not the same place. And I think that's the main thing that they are doing, is making people think. That's why a lot of people feel the way that they do. I don't know if people actually look at geopolitics. Like,
well, hold on, because I want to go. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead. No, you ain't cut me off.
Because you were saying that, like, one, everybody, they have like their following and who do they work for, and that whole notion. Some people are built like that, where if they have a change of heart, they're going to speak their mind in that moment. And those are the people that I resonate with. So, like, that's why Nick Fuentes, even if I don't agree with all of him, Nick is built in a way where if we're in a room, I understand that. I understand the Nick Fuentes of the world. What I don't understand is when you do, like Dak is presenting, when you do have a change of heart and you don't speak up about it. I just don't get that. The way that I have been processing possibly a Charlie Kirk's process is he doesn't know how his audience will receive that, because he built a business, he built a following, he built an image, he built so much on this notion of I'm pro this, I don't talk about this, I'm not questioning anything because it's biblically sound or what have you. And so if you did build something so big and your heart is saying, well, there might be something else, he doesn't know how the audience will receive it. And so he could literally be tearing down the house that he built. So I think that Tucker situation, going back to like a strategic way, is to see, man, what's your name? Sorry.
Anthony's.
Oh, my name Anthony's.
Okay. So it would almost, I think the way that he got to, I think Charlie in some ways, whether or not he is built like that, I think he had been rubbing shoulders with enough people that he knew he wasn't going to be alone in this, but he just didn't know how he could come out. I mean, Charlie was with Candace. Because of that, he was around. He's been in rooms with Kanye. He knows that you can go against the grain and still stand. But everybody was like, Charlie Kirk is this. And so I think he was wrestling with himself for more than we realized. And he just didn't know. He's not built in a way where he's just going to speak it in the moment. But he is playing, he's a little bit more strategically minded with it.
I agree with that.
Well,
this is what you were saying. I know you were going on a different path with it.
Me?
You were right in what you're doing, but I just wanted to hit on that because I think it is having to do with built in a way where you just speak your truth, and then you can believe those people.
Well, to me, let me say this: if you playing I'm not a football player, but I watch football. You can't call an alternate after the ball has left the dude's hands. If in between the time the guy is about to chuck the ball to the quarterback and the quarterback is about to reach out for the ball and he calls an audible, the whole thing is nothing's going to work. And that, to me, is the problem with Charlie Kirk right now. You have people.
Who do you think's calling the audible? Yeah, because I think I'm following
you. Okay, I think the audible is being passed on to the community in general that is grieving for him one side, and the other side may not be as much. If you ask me who's behind it, I really couldn't say that it would be Israel or it was like some church that we never heard of. I wouldn't know where to start with that because there's not enough information for anybody to really have that opinion.
Have you been
just
following
don't
the
know.
whole story? Have you guys been following the facts or?
Oh yeah, dude, I wake up every morning. Yeah, I wake up every morning, and from right now, I'm watching History Channel, but normally I'm watching News Nation, and that's where I get my news source from. I don't rely on CNN. I don't do MSNBC. Sometimes I watch the dude because he puts rappers on, so I like his show.
Who's that?
Not I almost said Maury Povich, but that ain't him. Yeah, that's it. Hey, that's just to let you know I'm that old.
Right. I'm missing boys.
I got a question for y'all. For y'all. Does it make it like, because do y'all take this into consideration where you have like a Tucker, you'll have a Candace, you'll have a Dave Smith, a Theo Vaughn, a Nick Fuentes, these people that are willing to stand up and say something. Nick takes it to more Jewish Americans and Israel, while everybody else tends to focus on Israel. But to me, it's almost like Charlie moving in the way that he's moving or was moving, like more politically. I think one of the reasons why I'm bothered by is because it puts a target on the other people and makes them look almost crazy and puts them in more danger, where it's like, if you feel the way that you're feeling, then cool. But if you actually do see it maybe a little bit more how they're seeing it, like, why? You have a huge following. Why not? And I get what you're saying, Corey. I really do think it was that. And I also think it was, him just seeing his target market shift. Charlie has all these different products. He's selling Trump, he's selling JD Vance, he's selling Turning Point, he's selling pro-Israel. And that pro-Israel product was messing up him trying to sell the other products. You know what I mean? And it was causing him to lose credibility in the other areas. So I think he saw the target market moving and he was trying to figure out a way. Obviously, nobody want to lose just money just to be losing it, so he's trying to figure out a way, how do I hold on to this money, but also maybe lead the direction of the conversation, allow Josh Hammer to debate Dave Smith, allow Tucker Carlson to give his speech. So I do think it was that, but I almost want us to make it more comfortable for people to just come out there and just change their mindset. Like, hey, if you see something a little different, like, yo, it's cool. We actually appreciate that. You know what I mean?
I do think there's a benefit. Oh, my bad, Craig.
To me, it's kind of like watching Fat Albert have a shirt that says "I'm diabetic," but he's trying to sell you cheesecake. Dude, you just can't get it that way.
Go ahead. Who? BK, I know you ain't chiming in a sec. Yo, I'm crazy.
Nah, I was gonna say in the sense, like, if we keep the main thing, which is money, power, respect, none of this is really that confusing. I don't think we're that confused by what could be happening behind closed doors when you're talking about an LLC or an S corp generating $140 million. Like, you're not just going around saving lives to make that type of money. Like, somebody there's discussions, and it's always going to be with money at the forefront of all movement. And so the decisions that when he did speak or chose not to speak, that's because money is on the line. So you bring a good point by saying that, Chris, is that, like, anytime there's money involved, you ain't got to wonder why people doing certain things. Keep the main thing. The main thing is the bread. So I think with what he started at 18, it wasn't that type of bag he had locked up. But like you said, when you build a house that big, bro, you got to answer to certain people in certain influence. Not everybody's like Kanye, where they're willing to run up a bill and lose it overnight. Everybody ain't doing that.
That's the people who I believe.
That's
those people who be willing to lose everything. If a person's still gonna get a check at the end of the day, why should I believe you? Like, you got to think about it. I agree with him wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So Corey, you were right when you say, like, at 18, this is a different individual. When you graduate to 10, 15 years in the game, you begin to realize that the game of football is a business now. It's not what's because you love it, because you played it. It's a different ball game now. College isn't just for education. It's a business. You start opening your eyes to all these institutions that have been around you, but from your age and your perspective, they were always things that just had deeper meanings to you. And so politics ain't no different. There is money in driving people down the wrong way. There is money in getting people aggravated or agitated by what you say in clickbait. There's algorithms that thrive off of putting his face on something and making a triggering comment, and comments are floating and websites are filling up. There was a death a month ago of Charlie Kirk. His wife has more pictures smiling than crying.
Oops.
You filled up a whole stadium of people that were in tears, but the woman seems to be in joy. So when you think about that, you're like, we've all seen funerals. We know what they look like. They don't look like that. But when it's 150 million behind you, your tears going to have to switch up. You're going to have to put a smile on your face, and you're going to have to walk in front of that stage, not because you want to, because there's 150 million running on you. It's politics now. Life ain't as important when politics enters the room. It's a totally different conversation. So sacrifices and humanity and equality, those things are important. Until you reach the door where politics is in the room, everybody can get caught. Like y'all said, Trump walked in that door, thought all that reality TV show stuff he was popping was lit. He knew the homies. He could call up the rappers. I can get you out of jail. It's up. Cool. Then you start having certain conversations. You start opening up certain doors in the White House that you didn't know existed. All of a sudden, the main man who has always thrived and built his notoriety off of running his mouth is now shut. Man, we know how the politics game now look. And like you said, Dak, Trump ain't even the type of dude to be on that type of time when somebody got money. He got bread. He the first president to walk into presidency with the bag already secure. He didn't need y'all clout. He was already up. And to see him close doors and to turn his cheek from certain things, they tried to pop you down in Texas, my man. You brushed over that like it was some normal shit at the grocery store. So when you start seeing that stuff, you start saying, damn, I think we're just seeing in our eyes in real time. Yo, politics goes a lot deeper than we assumed. We only see it from our team, but now we're seeing, hold up, they dropping cats, trying to they pinning certain killings on certain people. Hold up, politics go a lot further than we ever would have saw. Now people shook to talk about it because they seeing important people get dropped. So now everybody like, oh, but that's the fear now. Everybody can be like, okay, we listening now. We listening, or we not poking the bear, or we don't want no beef. We quiet now. Yeah, when you do what happened to Charlie Kirk and you pin it on some random shit that most people gonna believe, et cetera, because they don't do their research, you got everybody in line. There's a reason why they used to hang a slave in front of the rest of them. When there was lynchings or lashings, they did it in front of the rest of them to keep everybody in line. And so if Charlie Kirk was trying to pivot or transition, who's the best person to make an example out of?
It's funny that you say lynchings, because I don't know if y'all been following like the whole back and forth with Josh Hammer and Candace Owens. So Josh Hammer was one of the people that Charlie Kirk spoke to the night before, who was in on those text messages that Candace exposed. So he was the one that had the Zoom meeting, Josh Hammer, the rabbi, and Charlie Kirk. And allegedly, I don't even think it's alleged at this point, but he put up something that night, the night before, after he spoke to Charlie, and said, he retweeted, I think, something that Trump said about bringing public lynchings back. Yeah. So like this whole thing is, he retweeted something that night.
And that random, is that out of left field for him?
I'm gonna have to go look. I don't trust what Groke said. Did Groke say it was for real that?
Yeah. He said, I think he said that it was real, or somebody that he worked with tried to say like, oh, he was referencing the situation, I think in North Carolina where the guy stabbed the girl, but he didn't have anything else on his timeline associated with that. And even they went back to where when they asked him about that particular incident, his energy wasn't aligned with like public execution energy. So I don't know. It's
what's wrong with that though? Think about it. If we went back to stuff like that, if you steal from somebody and they cut your hand off, are you gonna steal again? No, because you want your other hand. Like if they brung shame back, if they brung back doing stuff like that, or even the thought of it, maybe people wouldn't do certain things. I don't know if I have like a problem with that. Maybe if men get their packages like shipped somewhere else, then maybe they won't mess with little kids. Like you got to think about it. Like why are they suggesting these things? Some of these things that they even put out there, they know it's just gonna send people like in an uproar. People won't even think about that. Cause like if somebody break in my house and do something like, and they want to hang them or like cut their hands off for stealing my stuff, I don't know if I have a problem with that. Like, cause don't take my stuff.
But so here's the bigger picture. I think though,
I fully agree with you, because the way that I look at it, if you really wanna punish a teenager, you'll embarrass them in front of their friends. You can whip their ass twice. It ain't gonna cut the same as that one time you embarrassed them.
but what happened? What happens with those type of?
I fully agree.
I don't think Unc can hear you. Can you hear BK?
No.
That's why. He just comes across. That's why. Yeah.
I was like, don't ever want to hear me say that.
BK was talking. That's why I knew that you probably couldn't hear him. But BK was like,
I was like, don't ever want to hear
hands up. BK, go like this just in case. Bring you back. Hold on. Word.
Normally you have like a little hesitation. He wasn't.
He just jumped right in like.
He was like, "I'm getting my shit off."
BK, talk.
Now I can hear him.
Unc, you got me.
Yeah, now I got him.
All right. You up, bro?
All right. No, what I was gonna say is, what I think we run into the issue is when we want those type of disciplines, comes a type of responsibility when you have those disciplines. And so, yes, in theory, it sounds great to discipline people with those type of solutions, or some people let me look at that extreme, but it's when it gets in the wrong hands is the issue. And so that's what's too difficult. It's not that we don't want these disciplines so people will learn, but it's when police get a badge, they move different than they would if they didn't have the badge. And it makes it so difficult to implement any type of coverage or, truth or, equality or responsibility when you give that to the wrong hands of it. But also in the sense, like when you think about these people and how they're willing to operate, we have to also understand the government and the society, like the society we live in, the government doesn't always care about what the people care about. And so we assume that they should care about certain things. Like when we talk about, pedophilia or child or sex trafficking, they don't care about that. Like, we can't keep getting caught in the semantics of this, because there ain't nothing stopping America to stop anything overnight they do want existing. So you have to also take a look at it like, hold on, I'm gonna watch what y'all do before I say anything so I can see where your heart aligns. When the government wants certain things to not be a thing, they disappear overnight. Laws go into action overnight. But when they don't care, all of a sudden, it's so difficult to get people to be honorable. It's so difficult for certain people to not lie, certain people to go into office. So the unethical behavior, I think, has to be considered. But we also have to stand big picture that if they don't care, that's why we're complaining about it. The government don't have to complain about nothing. They just make the change.
But you're right about that.
I think that was the difference between Trump and everybody else, was that he did have an ear to the people and he did connect with the people. Mm-hmm. And so all of these things that he was saying, it was like he was getting it from us or vice versa. Like there was a connection there. So when you say the government doesn't care about the people, yes. But when Trump entered, it was finally someone's listening. Finally, we're going to get the truth. Finally, we're going to change this whole thing, because that was how it had been since whoever, as long as we can remember. Yeah. The other thing that I want to kind of tie to this is I think I'm sure you guys are aware, there's a great awakening going on right now. And it has to do with the fact that there's voices like us. We can just hop on a panel, connect, talk to people. Like the information's getting out there, different perspectives getting out there. They cannot bottle this up any longer. So the way that when you talk about like them trying to, or what the example that they made of Charlie Kirk on that stage was basically saying, you get on a line, we still can do X, Y, or Z. But I don't think they can do that to all of us. And I don't think they realize how much of us are like, we're driven by money, but it's not all about money. It's not all about money. Like money can't make me come out of who I am. And I'm speaking as me as a person. Like I've been up against those lines where it's like, yeah, if I hush up or if I just act a certain way, if there's a bag probably tied to it, but I just can't do that. Like I literally can't. I've tried. I just can't. Like I'm not. And going back to like I'm not built that way. And I think there's a bunch of me's out there, and I think tied to the information of I don't do this stuff for money, right? So like but there are people out there that do. That are tied to this agenda, that think that, okay, I'm going to tie this bag to it. And then 5 years later, I'm going to say, well, you have to say this because the bag's connected and you have a house now. And again, this is like Kanye's story. And there's a lot of Hollywood stories. It's now tied to politics. But I think it's bigger in this awakening of they've been trying to control us with the money. They've been trying to control us with limited information. They've been trying to control us with a lot of things, and I think it's over. How does it truly unravel? I think we're seeing it in real time, but I think that they know that they can't stop what's going on right now.
I think they definitely do. I agree. Like there's a lot more people waking up and starting to do the research of what being a Democrat means, starting to do the research of what the Republican means. I'm guilty of that. I'm just now getting really hip to all this stuff. I just believe in what my parents told me to believe in and just ran it up. And so now I'm getting to a place where, you know what, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Let me do it. Right. Let me look at what the left means. Let me look at what the right means. Like just a simple ChatGPT link right there. The game is a little different for me now. But what I'm also noticing is that like there are a lot of people that ain't doing that. And they're for every one of you, there's 1,000 that just gonna hop on whatever the trend or what their algorithm is saying. And so in transparency, knowing more and having all this weight of having honesty on your palate is a difficult weight to carry. And so, yes, it's getting easier for the people that are built like that to carry honesty on their shoulders. But we got to understand the space that we are in, where we are content, when we are confident in walking down our own path. That is not a journey that I can go up. You just said it. You in Connecticut, and it's not often you can just really get in your bag and just have open dialogue about high-level discussions that don't leave people so emotional and cussing or disagreeing, et cetera, et cetera. This is not an easy task because from a humane level, it is difficult to walk in rooms with people you don't agree with and walk away and still have amicable respect. And because so many people are tied to their emotions, they will always be controlled by politics because politics takes advantage of the ones that are emotional. It's the ones that can see things in different walks of life or different perspectives. Although you may not be rich, you may understand why a Republican chooses the right, Although you may not be a female, you may understand why they choose the left, why a gay person may choose this. Once you start understanding that the number 9 and the number 6 have more similarities than more people want to talk about, you start understanding, oh, snap. But in the division is where the benefit, where the monetization is. That's the only reason you can get 150 million. There ain't no way to get it.
Dude, somebody told me this a long time ago. If most people understood what the deep state is, the deep state is not what they think it is. It's communication. That's what the deep state really is. It's communication. The advent of the internet.
Elaborate on that, huh?
The advent of the internet, and what y'all are talking about right now, about how everybody's got this little idiot box in their hand that makes them smarter or dumber. It can go one of two ways. You could either use it for a benefit or you could use it as a disadvantage. But it's doing one of those two things. It's either taking up your time and you're spending it. Oh, look at that TikTok and these idiots doing this. And oh, I think I'm going to go surf the train. What, really? Son, are you? Did I raise you that way? Did a little girl died surfing the subway? This is what is trending, and this is what kids are doing. That is the deep state. The deep state is communication. The communication that two leaders or two political parties have against each other, and that borderline that was usually not crossed, but now there is no borderline. Just like Trump said he solved the border problem. He certainly did. But the border that he opened up was a whole new can of worms for all of us Americans. He might have shut Mexicans down from walking across the desert, but he created a whole can of worms by putting troops on the streets. When was it ever okay for a dude in an M16 to walk down 9th Street and Colonial in Washington? It should never happen. Yeah, it should never happen unless during January 6th, they didn't do it then. They shouldn't be doing it now. Now, I'm not the type of person that I grew up in the hood just like everybody else. So, yeah, I know good and doggone well there ought to be a prison in every town. But at the same time, we got to look at what's putting people in the position to get them into that position to go to prison. If you starving people mentally, physically, and emotionally, then you have a person put in a box. And that is exactly what they're doing to us in a new way, because I understand a lot of, I got to sound like I'm old, one of y'all young people or most young people figuring, oh, this is the first time this has ever happened. Hell no. This shit happens every 10 years. And really, it happens every 4 years, every time we vote for a new idiot to sit in the White House. But you've never paid attention to it like this before, because there has never been a politician like Donald Trump before. You got to keep in mind, Donald Trump was not a businessman. He was never a businessman. He was an heir to a fortune that happened to make good on being that heir, because he lost most of his father's money, but he was able to have the right people in the right places that kept that money alive and kept turning it over to where he can get things done. Otherwise than that, he'd be sitting right here, right now on the street from me, talking about, dude, can I get 50 cents? No. Yeah, but life goes on. to me, it's no different than what we going through right now than what we went through in the 60s when they assassinated Charlie Kirk. It was just like when they assassinated Martin Luther King. It's not on the same level. They're not the same. I'm not saying that. But if you look at the politics of today versus the politics of then yes, it's equal. And I ain't got no more of opinion than that.
So I have one. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I've been talking.
Well, no, I was gonna say, what's the difference with them two? Because I feel like it could have been the same people behind it. Because I may not feel the same way everybody feel about Martin Luther King. He was a fraud too. So, and I hope I don't feel no. I hope I don't offend anyone, but this is from extensive research that has been done. Like Martin Luther King is not who they told us to think he was. He's not. So I'm just saying, I don't know if but I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. Now in Washington D.C., now I'm gonna tell you. So I have some different viewpoints only because I grew up in a 2-parent household. My life had never been cut off. Like my parents, I didn't grow up poor. Now I am married. I've been married for 13 years. Now me and my husband, we came from 2 different sides of the track. So he did grow up where like both of his parents were like, on drugs at one point. Now they are recovered, like they've been recovered for years, but I'm just saying he experienced some things that I didn't. But even my husband don't live in victimhood. Like it's some people when you spoke about the box, like I literally thought about this the other day. I was at somebody's house and the people across the street from them had this cage, right? I think they have like big dogs. But it's like this cage, and it's a really nice cage. But the top of the cage was missing. Like even if we in a box, like people feel like we in a box. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Now I told y'all I joined the GOP like a few months ago. So since joining the GOP, I noticed a difference. So when I was a part of the Democratic Party, I used to go to meetings. I used to be out there rallying for stuff. I didn't even know why I was rallying. They make you think you really going for a cause or whatever. Since joining the GOP, they give you a copy of the Constitution, so you know what you standing for, like why you believe, like what you believe. Like they break it down. They don't put you in this. I'm telling you, y'all, my mind has been open so much. Like it really made me look at everybody on the left that I have dealt with previously as being full of crap, because a lot of the things that they tell you, nobody don't know because we haven't went in these rooms. Like the rooms that they are telling us we can't go in, we can very much go in them rooms. We can get the same money people are getting. It's literally, so I live in Jacksonville, Florida. So Jacksonville Jaguars, the man that owned the team here, a lot of people think this man, Mr. Khan, they think Mr. Khan got his money from being an heir. Well, me, I always look people up. I look people up. I'm nosy like that. Well, now I'm saying I'm nosy. I normally say intuitive. My husband say I'm nosy. But when I looked it up, I'm like, this man didn't get his money from an heir. This man got his money from a loan from the SBA. Anybody can go to the SBA. People don't know that. So it's like, I think a lot of times, I'm not going to say they don't put us in box. You can only be put in what you think you put in. Nobody can put me in no box. Nobody ain't supreme. The only person who is supreme to me is the Lord. Like, it's a lot of stuff that they be like trying to feed us. We got to stop believing that stuff. I know poor people like that. They get a lot of money. I met a legal American citizen that came over here. That guy told me he came over here in I was born in 87. That man said he came over here in 88. That man, like, this what made me think people be full of crap. And this man told me this himself. This man said when he came over here, I didn't even know this was a thing. So y'all know I'm going to look it up. Y'all should go look it up too. That man said when he came over here, Mr. Carter, Jimmy Carter was the president. He said at that time they were giving away green cards or something. If you was a farmer, you could get a green card. He said, I was a farmer. I respected that. You know what he said? He don't understand how people can be here 30 and 40 years and still be illegal. And I'm like, me either. especially when like it's a lot of stuff be going on. They don't want us to know. They keep us divided and confused, like with the stuff that just because y'all saying a lot of people be saying stuff be done overnight. Even if stuff done overnight, it be something else. So while they doing stuff that we can be paying attention to, like instead of looking at squawk on the street and watching business stuff, instead of looking at geopolitics, everything that's done happened somewhere else, then it come here to America. Like a lot of stuff we just don't know about. We only know what we know and we won't look nowhere else. I'm telling y'all, they've been playing us for a really long time. They're gonna keep playing us because we can't have conversations like this. Like I can't talk to people. I can talk to my husband and like a few of my friends, but people don't want to hear it because sometimes the truth hurt. Like the truth really do hurt. And I'm sorry, I'm done, y'all.
But you say that we can't have conversation like this, but we are, and that's what I'm saying. Like it is happening. So you and Unc said,
what we gonna do? What we gonna do? This us five. It's not. Do you know how many people in the world though? I'm not being funny. I'm just being for real. Like so it's us five. Yeah. Okay. So what we gonna do now? Charlie had way more than us. And they got Charlie up out of here. So what is the five of us gonna do? And I'm not being negative. I'm asking because I really want to know. Tell me who. You know how long I've been trying to get on the panel with this guy? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
It ain't that many people that will have these conversations.
So it's the conversation is a part of it for sure. When you leave from the conversation, what you're building is also a part of it. So I don't know what you're working on your day to day, but it's a mind, body, spirit. It's everything. Where you're headed is like the fact that you're researching this stuff, and that's the difference between what's going on in 2025 versus what happened in 1960. Not to say that they didn't research and they weren't getting it, but the information and the way that you can connect to people and the like. I'm going back to like that awakening period. I don't know. I think that they saw that on the television and. Yeah, they were demoralized. They thought that the government or they thought whatever the information they got from the screen was the truth. Fast forward, we see that information and we say there's something full of shit. And then now we're connecting with people that are also saying, yeah, they're full of shit. So there is a very different landscape today than it was back then. And we literally are building like this is a build. I know, Dak we're on his platform, but the way like our words, our day to day, we are building something in real time and as a culture, as a generation that is the solution to a lot of the problems that I think that we're raising or bringing forward or just seeing, identifying. So I'm someone who I'm very optimistic because I know what I'm doing day to day. I did have that same sort of, path that you had, Anastasia, in a way where it's like, okay, I can see the left completely differently now, but then you're going to see the right just as differently, right? So you just signed up for the GOP. Wait until that light bulb goes off of not that they're full of shit, but they just don't have.
They're all a part of the same thing, though. That's the thing. They all are.
I know, but I don't see it as them being full of shit. I just don't see the right having that it that you need. I think the left, in some ways, they have it. That's why they have.
What's the it that we need? What is the it? Because the it that they've been pushing, the it is full of shit. Is what it is. Like, because I'm gonna tell you, the Democrats in my city. No, and I'm telling you, and I can only speak for my city. The Democrats in my city full of shit. And they can see this video and see that I said it. Like the people follow the people. It's like they be dangling stuff in your face. So in my city, helping the community is making Plan Bs available for the women who don't want to protect it.
That's not it.
Huh?
No, I'm saying that's not the solution. That's not.
And that's what I'm telling you. Like the things that they make our people in my city think is what's solving the problem. It's not what's solving the problem. Like we need to help people understand. Child, it's so deep. We'll be here all night, but I'm telling you, it is some people that are like wholehearted about it, and it's a lot of people who ain't. And I'm telling you, a lot of them like more people who ain't are the ones who be put up front for us to follow. Cause like everybody be talking about Trump, nobody don't talk about President Obama. Nobody don't talk about what he did. Like nobody don't be talking about certain things. Like, and I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of stuff be going on, but we're never gonna find out about it because most of our people, like people tell you their attention span short. They'll watch the Real Housewives. They'll watch reunions. They will watch every and anything. Stuff be 45 to an hour long. Like, but y'all, they won't look at something that has some type of substance. So that's how they're gonna keep getting us.
Let me ask you this, because you know who I believe has more faith in us than us? It's the powers that be, because they're working 24/7 for us to have this mindset, though. But they're working 24/7 to instill a mindset in us that what we are up against is too big for any of us to accomplish. So that's why they do the division. That's why they do the public execution, just like BK was talking about. That's what Charlie Kirk was when I look at that. That's what Donald Trump was. Oh, y'all think y'all going to get out of line? Well, this is going to happen. But in all actuality, I mean, it's really just a decision. It's a decision of whether or not your principles, your purpose, what you stand on is important enough for you to risk that. And then once you make that decision, then I think everything else is just a green light where you don't have to worry about all of those things that may be coming your way, because that's a reality. We can get in trouble for the things that we say. It is what it is. All right, now that we're past that, what do we do from here on out? So, and I do think that it's a unique time, and I'm sure, you could tell us, more so as far as like, things that may feel unique to us may have already occurred. But I actually think that Donald Trump did do us a service in this regard, where he was seen as the non-politician. He was the person that a lot of people put their faith in just because it's like, we're fed up with both. He just sounds different. But now what we saw was that, damn, they even got Trump. And now it's like one of those things where it's like, oh,
I was like, this is over with. Right. Oh, well, they got Trump. Oh, well, I don't know.
And you mix that, and you mix that with the fact that people are super disappointed in the Democrats. Like when I look about my lifetime, typically it wasn't where you're disappointed in both. Like people love Bill Clinton, you know what I mean? And then George Bush had after 9/11, he had some of the highest approval rating ever. Then you had Obama. People loved Obama. Trump had his people that rock with him. This is probably the first time in a while where people were already fed up with both sides. People were already disappointed with the candidates that were presented to us. And now that we see that the system even got Trump, in my opinion, there's a whole lot of people that are just sitting back and just kind of saying like, hey, there may be something different that we have to do. And I think that's what Charlie Kirk was realizing. That's what he realized. He realized that things were shifting, because all it takes is it's not going to be people our age, to be totally honest. It's going to be the 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds, because they don't care. They don't care. Once they align themselves, now we have to guide them in a particular way. But once they get something in their mind that they're willing to work towards, like to me, they're just going to lock in on it. So that's kind of my thoughts on it.
That's why the military sends 19 and 20-year-olds in for fire. Go get shot at. Come back when you're shot. That's might as well be what they tell them. But it's always the children on the front line. When I say children, I mean the 19 and 20-year-olds. The sergeant is usually in the back. He's 34. He know better than to stand out there. Yeah, he know better than to stand out there.
I think that's a great, but if you just keep it like in a very business, because I look at politics as a business, so it's very hard for me to not look at it like that. It just makes so much more sense to start funneling the children that are at a very influential age and get them on board and tie their beliefs with their politics, with their religion, shake it up in a bottle, make them look like they stand out because they believe it, because they wear a red hat, and it's up. Like, that's no different than a rock star coming back and everybody wearing a wallet chain. Like, That's just the approach to take when you're trying to scale and the conversation becomes bigger. And so I think that's what Turning Point was. It was a turning point in changing in noticing the landscape of how we are going to market this new business in today's world. The way we used to do it didn't work. But now we've got social media, we've got algorithms, we've got influencers. Charlie Kirk is an influencer. He's not a politician. Mm-hmm. So there is a strategy in now, hey guys, because we won't be able to get certain, like nobody's going to listen to the Clintons today anymore. The kids want to see the influencer that goes to the campus. It's a strategy.
Oh, they're going to high schools now. They setting up in high schools. Like really? It was a young girl at the last GOP meeting that we went to. Literally, that's why I kept looking around because I got the girl info, like the card, because I was like, I was sitting there. They want people to start those chapters in high school and high schools all over and I got the flyer. It's specifically calling out for high school students because I'm like, they finna put this junk on, and I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna do it. Only because I'm like, y'all act like we can't talk about the Lord in school. So like, how y'all gonna get it in there? But they are calling for chapters to be started in school to start it early.
And think about though, at one point in time, religion was weaponized to take control of people. When religion started becoming a thing that people started bonding over, what do you see? A similarity in the right side. Wow. So there's a tie into that because now not only is it what you believe, but it's a part of the beliefs, what you guys support, what you guys feel like. You can control people with that aspect. People are looking, like we talk about like how people don't want to dig and do the research, but let's play clean canvas. It is difficult to get to a place like that. When you got your bills due, when you got your mom in or out the house, when the lights is cut off, when you might be in the hood, when you're not, when you're rushing out to work, sometimes you look at the phone because you need to get away from reality. And so our realities may look a little different than somebody else's reality. Now, it doesn't always make an excuse, but we're not here to discuss excuses. We're here to discuss situations that are real. And these are the real situations. And so when you're ducking and dodging the bills or cops and all these other things that clearly are able to distract us, and now we start to realize, oh, this is something that is being curated on the back end by whoever's behind the closed door, there's a benefit in that. It's tough to get a bunch of people like this to talk open mic like this because it's tough to get people to sit still and just breathe and relax to begin with.
Why?
So it's a real thing from the emotional aspect as people so busy dealing with life for 20 hours of the day. Bro, they don't want to talk. It's 1 o'clock. We ain't on this phone for any other reason than our hearts and our passion got us here.
Right.
Well, that's good. Hey, I say that every week. Enjoy your 40 hours, and that's just why. Yeah, that's just why.
What were you saying, Corey?
There's a few things in that because one of the things that I have heard or thought, like they controlled our image for so long. Like when you heard of or saw black man this, it was almost like the same image, the same, like, I don't want to say demographic, class, like everything was this one way. It was a cookie cutter black man that they had here. I think what we're realizing and what we're going to realize, I think we're at the beginning of it, is that you have black men, white men. I don't even, to be honest with you, is even deeper than that because I don't even see the world as black and white. I'm more of a, where are you from? Where are your people from? How do you think? I think we're going to get there. I think that's on the other side of this because I think I've seen a few different movements that are growing steam that really unpack some of these things that we were fed. So that's a part of the agenda. And as more people say, well, that doesn't really speak to me, I don't feel represented in that. I think that's the part where the left and just politics no longer bring, like, that's not where our beliefs are. So the way that they controlled our image, and with I hate to even say the Great Awakening again, but being exposed to voices like this and platforms like this and channels outside of the television, that light bulb goes on. And not only are we now exposed to other walks of life from across the country, but the people that are listening to it are because for so long they didn't think that there was even a black Trump supporter. Like that was what saying. That was such a crazy thing. True. They were like, "You like Trump? How? You're black?" And it was like, "Yo, what?" So we're so.
I used to hear the same thing.
It just is. It's a crazy thing, but that's what the TV did. It got people to think that way. But we're so beyond that, where you have. So now it's like white people. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me point something out to you that I think most young people overlook. Do you realize that there is nothing on the planet quite like you? All of you. There is nothing on this planet quite like the 4 people that I'm talking to. And let me explain that. If you go to Africa, you find another black man and black woman that look just like any one of y'all. But a black American is a unique specimen because there is no such other person on the planet that can identify as an American black person. You look down the street at the Italian people's house. They're from Italian. They're Italy. They're Italian. Yes, they're from Italy. But you look at the black man down the street. Where's his goddamn grandfather from? Chicago?
They don't even know.
Nobody. Exactly.
Ain't nobody checking no family trees. Don't even get me started on that. I'm so mad at them.
What do you mean they're not? What do you mean they're not?
This is my point. This is my point.
You did? Okay, well, you know what? Let me just start saying that. I'm so happy I met some new people who care about the things that I care
about. Oh, man.
Nah, but that's real. And that's a good point, though, because just like that, it's like you become the change, Corey. Now you're doing something. Yep. Now nobody else has an excuse to not do the same thing. Yep. And that's how all this stuff can impact very quickly. Like we may not realize because we haven't had people do this in our favor, or perhaps the people that were, they got them out of there. But this thing can change very quickly. Like there's no way that the things that Malcolm or Martin or whoever else in the past was spreading, now you spread one message on X and it can go viral just like that, where you can shift the entire mindset of the masses so quickly. Get them engaged in something, get them standing for something. So I think that it's impossible not to be optimistic right now for me.
Exactly. No, you're right. There's a lot more. There's a lot more support. There's a lot more platforms. There's a lot more things. And, just as much as it takes to influence people negatively, there's just as much influence as it takes to influence people positively. And so although the road may be more difficult, because the one thing, the advantage that the other sides may have is that when there is a need for knowledge, there's going to be a need for discipline, a need for research, a need to dig a little bit deeper than most people are comfortable or wanting to do. And so they're able to take advantage of that. But the approach has to be, okay, guys, us knowing that most people don't want to fucking do the research, how do we package this up in a glittery box that most people want to fucking open, but we'll still be able to get our message across? That's all Turning Point did. Right. They didn't tell people they didn't give people the truth. They just made the shit look cool.
Right. Talking BK.
Yeah,
oh man.
So there was the Dave Smith and Nick Fuentes sit down this week. And I watched it, and I also watched some of your coverage of it. This particular, I don't know how it came up, but I think Nick was going off and saying that the makeup of the new America being not just the white man or the black man and having a bunch of other people at the table almost. I wasn't sure if it was the DEI piece, but he was saying it's basically about power. Like who's going to represent and who's going to control the other people, I think. And I disagree with it, because I think when it comes to, trying to have a seat at the table in a board meeting or going to get some representation and really just coming up, I don't think it's about having power. I think it's about self-sufficiency and preservation and being able to be on your own and do your own thing. I think one thing about the Black culture is we don't really need to be in positions of power for the sake of power. I think there are cultures that they are power hungry, but we kind of just like to just, have not just enough. We like to, flourish and thrive and show off a little bit, but we don't need to be in control of everybody. We don't like that headache. We like to just be with our people and, sleep good and eat good and dance and have a good time. And I know that, that's not the bottom of Black culture, but it's just like, that is a part of our culture. So I say all that just because I do think there's certain times where Nick will present something where I understand literally where his view is coming from, but I think he needs to listen to other people because they don't think that way. So I don't know if you remember that part where he was like, it's all about power. And it's like, I think we're trying to pull up to the table, not looking for more power. We're just trying to pull up to say, hey, this is how we work. We could probably operate. That's why like there's a notion of, if you give us that almost that 40 acres and a mule, like we would be straight, right? Like if
would we though?
Okay.
That's just like everybody asking for reparations. Yeah. Like everybody want reparations, but they blew the PPP. Like, what are people gonna do? Like, if people don't know how to like properly manage their money, that's what I'm saying. It's like we setting ourselves up for failure.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Timing is important. Yeah. Like timing is important.
I'm Anthony's hold that thought, because I want to get into that too. But just responding to what you said, Corey. Nick does speak from, like, you can understand his perspective why he's saying it, but it's almost from like a colonizer mindset. Black people, even the point that you mentioned earlier, Black people's mindset, like slavery didn't break our mindset. Like right after slavery, we still were, okay, we can't embrace this victimhood. We got to get to work. We realized the situation that we were in where and I don't want to get into there's another combo with the social programs and all those things. But when we actually look at even what you just said, like Black people don't necessarily have that power hungry mentality where everybody has to see the world the same way they see it. Everybody has to buy into this religion because this is what we're pushing. And when you look across the world, really, a lot of the power hungry people, the colonizers, they took over groups that were not like that were just laid back, like, yo, y'all do y'all thing, we do our thing, like, cool. But they felt the need to come in because they had certain insecurities, in my opinion, to where they had to ensure that they would be in control, and their strategy in doing that was just going beyond moral lines than what I think that we were willing to do in order to even get back what was taken from us in a lot of ways when you look at it. So it is a different thing. And going back to what you said, it's like, it's a little bit different than black and white. It's like, where are you from? How are you thinking? All these different things. But even in the conversation with Nick, when he was talking about it being a power struggle, for a lot of people, we're seeing that. We're seeing that with Israel's influence. We're seeing how those things can be power struggles, when in all actuality, a lot of it's just like, yo, we just want to be able to, rock out, do our thing. We're not really too concerned with y'all at all, really. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's like, now you get us involved to where we're fighting a lot of your battles. And even when you look at the history of like black people and all this stuff, like we've gotten manipulated into fighting everybody else's battle while we get like kind of finessed and then wake up and realize like, damn, this has nothing to do with us, really. Like, so I really see that type of thing happening, but yeah, just addressing your point. And then Anthony's, I don't want to forget as far as what you say.
No, it's okay.
With the reparations, because I do think that it is a mindset thing. It is a mindset thing where if you gave a whole bunch of us cash right now, then we know that that's only going to stimulate, businesses that are outside our community because we don't have those businesses. But trust and believe, there could be certain things that would be given to us. And I think with proper leadership, and this is a cool battle, like we're always fighting the cool battle. How can we get what we're saying to appeal cool to these young kids more so than all the goofiness that they accept, because that's coming across cool. But I think it's a very interesting time right now. It's a very interesting time right now. And I think the reparations conversation, I'll let y'all kind of take the lead on that while I get my thoughts together. Or we can circle back or whatever y'all thinking. But
yeah, I think I sent you an article about that, didn't I, Dak? About Atlanta, they looking like. Did I text you that, Dak?
With reparations?
Reparations in Atlanta?
Really?
I mean, they did do it in Cali, right? Or they pushed something through. I don't know if they actually started giving out money.
I have to go look by Cali. Cali broke.
They put a bill up in California.
They put but I don't think they started passing out any money though.
Okay, we gonna see.
Yeah,
don't hold your breath while we wait.
When I get a second, I'll send it to y'all. But there is there is timing. You don't want to give an 18-year-old a Ferrari. What is he going to do? He's going to kill himself. So there is strategy, but like you said, with good leadership and let that be the thing, and constantly not being finessed. But it's like we got to get. It seems like that unethical approach, Dak, like the colonization perspective, that fear that you may lose something. So I'm going to build all these systems, programs, and all this red line to control seems to be, in a business sense, as unethical it may be, seems to always lead them to some type of upper hand in certain situations when it comes into politics or things of that nature. So I think just being aware of it, but also, like you said, giving what is the out for that? What is the response to that? What is the discussion? All right, we bring the awareness, we have the conversations, but where do we align our dollars? Where do we start raising the capital? When do we start scaling the brand and start speaking of this as something that you do versus something that we're just noticing, et cetera, et cetera?
I think that we're doing it on here. And I think you're doing it when you're teaching credit. I think Unc's doing it when he's giving the game on the history and then maybe explaining something to people that they may not be aware of and how they should see things. I think when you get a group of 5 people on a call, 5 Black people, and they're not pushing Democratic liberal talking points and can have a conversation about conservative principles, I think that we're actually doing it. Okay. So it may not, like, this is the point that I wanted to make earlier. It took them a while to indoctrinate us to this point. Yeah. Like it took hundreds of years for them to get us to this point.
It wasn't overnight.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't expect, like, comparing, like, all right, man, this was a rough week compared to, like, this was hundreds of years in the making that it took for us to get here to develop these mindsets in America. But the good thing about it is, with technology, with all these advancements, now it doesn't have to take us that long. Things can turn around very quickly, in my opinion.
But I think that's what Anastasia was almost bringing up, as if, like,
Anthony's, my fault. Anthony's, yeah.
My bad.
No, it's okay. Corey, that's Corey, right?
Yeah.
Corey, you could just call me. You could. What do you want to call me? You could call me Too Real. It's okay. People don't call me his name. So Anastasia is cool. Hey.
Nah, we're gonna call you Anthony's if that's your name. I ain't trying to do that to you.
Yes. No, he's so funny. He's talking about, Anastasia.
I said like 5 times. Y'all didn't correct me.
I tried to. You weren't looking at the
you said it. I didn't even hear it. My fault. That's on me.
Yeah,
that's on me.
That's why I kept laughing.
But like you were saying, Dak, we didn't get here overnight, so we're not gonna get out of it overnight. And I think Antonise was saying, like, are we even ready for that check, or are we ready if we get the 40 acres? Like, would we know what to do with?
That's what I'm saying. Would we be ready?
So, I think the right people are going to get what is rightfully theirs in those ways, right? So, like, you're going to get that information. You're going to get that seat in a corporation if you want to. As somebody who's been in corporate, been out, but back in, like, it's not all it's cracked up to be. I don't care what that check looks like. So all I'm saying is the world is yours. If you want whatever path you want to go, if you're ready for it, if you're ready to be in that room, like you said, you could be like, there's not a room that you can't be in. Right. So as like we were saying, it didn't happen overnight. Going into that room is not going to be overnight. Sometimes you got to take a shower, get cleaned up. But wherever you want to go from there, you don't have to go into these certain rooms. If you want to be by yourself, be by yourself. If you want to, I'm at a point right now where I'm really trying to get back to like living off the land and doing your own, like it is a self-sufficient type of mindset, right? I do want to build and do some stuff. I don't want to just go into the woods and be 100% off grid. But at the same time, I do not want to ask for anything to anybody. So that's what 2020 and that whole era kind of taught me. So I just think that we are getting, and we collectively, but also individually, are getting what we want and like what we feel we're owed, or what we feel, not so much that we're entitled to by any stretch, because you got to work for whatever, but like what we're due and paying, the price to do it, but also going to get it. So that's where I'm at in terms of, are we ready? The people who are ready, go and get it.
I like that. Okay, Corey.
It's going definitely. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Well, the way that I look at reparations is probably a little bit different than most. However, me personally, I don't really think that it would be a good or a bad thing. However, how they ended up breaking down let me explain it this way. In Colorado, I lived in Colorado for almost 22 years. In Colorado, the same rule that applied for giving a slave a mule of, I think it was 4 gold coins, 8 silver coins, that rule stayed on the books in Colorado up until 1990. So up until 1990, if you were a black person that was getting out of prison, you could actually sue the state of Colorado to give you 4 pieces of gold, 8 pieces of silver, a horse, and you're out of there. However, obviously they didn't do it that way. They gave you what it would have been worth then and what it would have been worth now. So there were people that were getting out of prison in Colorado that were suing for this and actually getting enough money to buy a car, a house, and put themselves in the school. They wouldn't give you cash, but they'd give you a grant to go to Red Rocks or CU. There's lots of ways that we can make this happen, and you don't break the bank, and at the same time, everybody gets a fair share. To me, it's just like the prices of groceries and everything that everybody's complaining about. Oh my God, did you see what bacon is? Yeah, but pork bellies are trading on the stock market. So at the end of the day, somebody's got to make that money and somebody has to take that loss. You can't have a win if there's no win, there's no loser. No one celebrates the loser except, well, nowadays everybody gets a medal in certain little leagues, but I don't play that way. And that shouldn't be the way the game is ever given as an educational standard. But it's given to us as that educational standard. Everybody gets a winning badge, but the badges ain't worth shit. So what hey man, you work 40 hours all week long, but we're going to give you 32 hours worth of money. That is exactly what most of us are living through. You know what I'm saying? It's not that you're not, well, okay, if you're making $14 an hour and you're trying to live on a $28 a week paycheck, then something's wrong with your math. But if you living on $14 an hour and somehow or the other, the government and society tells you that it's okay for an apartment to be $3,000 a month, right off the bat, your $14 an hour job don't count. So all of those people are irrelevant to what most of society is talking about. And these are some of the things that we need to change in society before we even start talking about reparations. Because it's a mindset. It is all a mindset. If you give an 18-year-old, like my man said, if you give an 18-year-old a Ferrari, you can bet believe in a month you'll be going to a funeral. Why? Because the child he ain't gonna realize, well, damn, I could take this up to 160 miles an hour. He's not thinking, let me find a airport run strip. He's thinking, oh, I might be able to do this before Miss Johnson pulls her car out.
Right.
Yeah.
Where are your people from? Where's your grandparents from?
Trinidad and Tobago.
And then you grew up here and then went over there?
No, yeah. My mom and my dad met each other at Brooklyn College, and I'm a result of a late night study thing. Yeah. So
that's how he's so smart.
Okay.
Hey,
well,
Dad.
on that note.
Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm really enjoying y'all. I'm so for real, y'all. But I got early this morning to take my kids to school.
Yeah. We finna wrap up. And
y'all is. I was about to say, I'm going to have to drop y'all. I'm like so old now. I'm like trying not to.
No, why don't we do this? You can go first. Get your final words. Because this is dope. I hope y'all can already feel the energy, especially when we start adding on, some different voices, different opinions. Because if we can have this get engaging with us, pretty much aligned with most things. Not that it's always going to be that way, but I think it could be some real dope conversations. A lot of room for growth. So, Anthony's, you take it away.
Oh, what up? Oh, y'all.
If you have any final words,
I've never been I'd have been on panels, but we don't be talking about serious stuff. Everybody who on my YouTube, they be wanting to just we don't talk about stuff like this. So I'm like, what do I end with? Just tell them. I don't really have.
Tell them what the goal is. What's the goal? What's your goal?
My goal is to.
Corey, say what you say, Corey.
What's that?
No, I was just saying what the goal is and where to find you at.
Yeah.
Oh, thank y'all for helping me. Okay, so my goal is to just make people think. I ain't trying to change nobody's mind. I just try to make people think in the type of content that I make on my channel. I'll tell people they come in the late class because you laugh and you think and I entertain you. So it's that the entertainment. I just try to make people think about things so they can just maybe it'll cause them to maybe go do a little bit more research. I am everywhere, like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Anthony's Too Real, because the people say that's what I am.
Love it. Let's get it. Let's get it, sis.
Ain't that crazy?
Corey, you up?
The goal is really one. I would say, rising tide. Raises all boats. Mm-hmm. So when we have conversations like this, even if you're not 100% ready for it, but you're listening to it, it's doing something to you. So just having more of these conversations, not trying to force feed anything down anybody's throat in any way, whether it's information, guidance, advice. I'm kind of over that type of approach to these conversations. It's really just being myself and seeing where things go. I'm in a interesting season right now with what I'm building. So you can find me on Instagram at cmoses12. But there's going to be a lot more that I'll be sort of promoting in the coming weeks and months and just the future. So for right now, just looking to, you know, rub shoulders with people like Dak here and you guys, because I think that is for the culture, is literally for the culture. And I think that for so long that we used to like give that title or that responsibility to the rappers and to, you know, these people. And now it's like, it's on us to do things for the culture that we see fit. So looking to do more of that.
Dope. Love that. Love that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll kind of, you know, reiterate what Corey says, but I completely agree. And I think that really is in alignment with kind of how I feel as well. Just like, I think the goal in what I'm noticing is just having discussions to begin with. And, you know, whatever your background or your basis or what you believe in is awesome. But I just think being able to, like what Dak is doing here, is being able to bring people that always don't align and see how respectful of a conversation that can still be. And so we can then encourage people to just be okay with speaking someone who they don't know or speaking with somebody who may not align politically. Like, there's just a humanity aspect that we got to get down to the basics and the foundation of all this stuff. And it all has to stem from just a good baseline. And, you know, when we're struggling to treat people right, we got to look within and ask ourselves, why is it so difficult for me not to agree with somebody that sees the sky as red and I see it as blue? Like, just on, can we put our egos aside and just be okay that the world is meant to be this way? And so I think as I've grown older, I've actually enjoyed people not agreeing with me, and I've appreciated different perspectives. And I can't say 10 years ago you could have talked to me and it would have been like that. I'd have been arguing until I turned blue in the face. But now I'm so okay with understanding that different upbringings, different parentals, different exposures, different environments will cause you to have different beliefs, and they're all right. And so I'm okay with just having the discussion with people that come from different places that I ain't come from, because now I can see another part of the world that I may never experience myself. But because I'm open to hearing people's opinions and perspective, now there's another part of the world I do get to see just without my own eyes.
Dope, bro. Love that.
Hook
you up.
Well, me, the big thing I get from all of this is the conversation of knowing that there are people out there that think the way that we do. And promoting this, to me, is educational. To me, we all might as well be sixth grade teachers, because trust me, each one of us are going to have a conversation with, it might just be the neighbor or it might just be a coworker. But from something that we picked up in this conversation, we're going to pass along. That's the fruit of our labor as a community. And that is what every one of us are striving for. We all are farmers. It just depends on what we're growing and what we're giving away. And that's love.
Dope, love that, huh? Yeah, and for me, you know, I'll be totally honest with this panel, and I'm sure things may change or they may not, but it's really, you know, bringing some dope minds together and figuring out how I can pour into y'all, like market y'all, me really get into more of my marketing side, because, you know, it's like I do the shows where I'm just talking, to be totally honest. You can appreciate just listening and hearing more other people's perspectives and allowing them to, you know, really empower others. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's very valuable and very important. So me just being real with y'all as far as the role and how I see this, you know, there's a reason why the four of y'all are here. You know, I'm literally just sitting back. And even BK text me, if that's cool. Like BK text me like, yo, this dope. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you see where not only this can grow, but even as individuals, like there's a role for everybody to play. And so I'm really just embracing this part of my role that I could play, just like, you know, marketing, like Corey, bro, you younger than all of us. You probably, I'm looking at you like, all right, Corey gonna be the voice. Like Corey gonna be the one that we gotta put in front of. Yo, I'm being for real. That's how when you start to plan it, roll it out in your mind, you're like, yo, that may be the role that you may not even want to play, but that may be the one that, yo, bro, we need you to, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like different things, like Unc already has his whole, you know, character where it's like, yo, Unc being like, how you said, Corey, the goal is for me to be 100% of myself. That's Unc all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? No matter what environment, this is Unc. You know what I mean? BK,
24 hours a day.
Same thing. BK, bro, you have a voice where you can speak to a lot of people, bro. A lot of people where your voice, you know, people are receptive. People believe in what you're saying. Like, that's what the people need, bro. That's what the people need. So a lot of times, you know, we may not understand that we have all of these things that we need in order to reach whoever we want to reach. But we do. Anthony, come on now, you a star. Like I'm saying, like
I wanted to get on your Warriors show, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can jump on whatever it is that we decide to do, and I really, it was very intentional. You know, even from the name, you know, like the OHGI Network, like just, you know, it's not about me. It's not anything. It's just really just creating something dope where everybody can voice their opinion, have a place to just shine. Like that's how I look at it. So. I'm looking forward to, you know, playing whatever role necessary, but the one that I'm really looking forward to is just making it very effective in selling y'all and marketing y'all, because I think that we have something really dope if we just really lean into it and I stay on top of the things that I need to stay on top of. So
while we're talking about that, let me say this to all of you. I do blueprints. Like if you need a structure, I don't care if it's just a small yard structure or apartment complex. I design all that type of stuff. So if any one of y'all need that services, just let me know and I'll work with you.
And everybody else needs to thank you for doing that, because I think that's very important. Part of supporting and making sure that we could do this is making sure that we're putting out and supporting each other's business. So
100%.
Yeah, so
network.
If anybody else, and maybe that's something that we could do. Actually, why don't we do this where, you know, we have access to these cameras and where we can get creative with the content. Shoot, everybody put together a little 30-second, 20-second, you know, reel or just a little video of what you do, and we're gonna be plugging and playing that as we go, because I think that'll be very helpful if everybody just knows what we do.
Oh, I got some real good video like when I was at Coors.
There you go. You said when you was at where?
Working at Coors, the brewery.
Oh, yeah, dope. Hey, whatever story you can tell to make people remember what you do, bro. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. So on that note, brother Corey, take us out, bro. We putting you on the spot. You feel me?
This is just the beginning. The best is yet to come.
Appreciate it. All right. See y'all soon.
All right then. All right then, everybody. One love. Everybody safe weekend.
You too, huh?